guys, Frank here, your virtual general virtual general aviator. And wow, I know it's loud, so let me hop in the aircraft where you can see me. This is the Beaver. Okay, so I got my noise canceling headphones on, and hopefully you can hear me a little better. And I am on leg 3 of the flight to Quantum River. Now, it's early in the day, so I'm hoping that I can make the entire flight. I've got my fuel tanks topped off, tip tanks, belly tank, and my main tanks. So, and I got a flight plan inserted. Let's take a quick peek at this flight plan, if you don't mind. So, yeah, I've got, so I leave Yakatek and I will follow this route all the way down to Quantum River, which is a custom um, user made waypoint. So, but yeah, I think I've got the right uh, latitude and longitude installed, entered to find this airport. Anyways, let's get back out and I'll show you the map of the plan. It's 739 nautical miles, so it is quite a long flight. Once I get airborne, then I will check in with you guys occasionally, but but the trick is to get airborne. I am flying IFR today, cruising altitude 9,000 feet, and it is raining with clouds at got 3 layers of clouds, and the top layer of clouds start at 6,600 feet. So hopefully I'll be okay. I've already got my squawk code. Go ahead and make it altitude reporting, and we are ready to go. Ready to go. Oh, one thing I did find out that I want to do is I think what I want to do is use my front tank first. Then I want to switch to my center tank. Um, well, no. I want to use my center tank first and get all the fuel out of the center tank. Then I want to pump the fuel out of my belly tank. Then I want to switch to my front tank and use out of all the fuel out of those. Um, then drain the fuel from my wing tips, and finally the fuel from my rear tanks. So that's the way that I want to use my fuel. So let me go ahead and switch to my center tank, and that will help with the weight and balance on this aircraft. Okay, so let me throw in some flaps, and it's gonna get loud when I pop outside, but I am going to pop outside just to let you take a quick peek at what it looked like. So yeah, this is the Beaver. This is the Beaver, and maybe I can adjust that for a moment. Yeah, so this is the Beaver the DHC-2, the Haviland Beaver by Thunder. All right, it's got the Tundra tires on it, the mud flaps, and the bubble windows. I've already did my weight and balance, and I've got I got one passenger and 150 pounds of cargo in the aft section of the aircraft. All right, so let's make this happen. Yakatek traffic Beaver 686 Sierra Charlie is taxiing to runway standby. Shucks. See what runway I want the taxi to. Winds were light and variable, so it's pretty much up to me which runway I want to use. Let's, um, so I think I want to go ahead and just taxi to runway 11. That way I can, that will already put me in the direction that I want to fly out of here. All right. What I wanted to do. There we go. Yakatek traffic, Beaver 686 Sierra Charlie is taxiing to runway 11. Yakatek. We'll be departing to the south at Yakatek. All right, so just in case anybody was out there. All right, so let's go throw some landing lights on to get us some lights. Clear to the left, clear to the right. Side brakes. And quick cursory check there. We are rolling, but let's just look here. Oil temp has come up to where it needs to be. All my fields are indicating full. Everything is in the green. All right. And I did do some work on my panel. I could not find a thermometer. So don't have anything that would give me my outside temperatures. Okay, so let's see, how am I gonna get to runway 11? Hopefully there's an out this way. Let's look and see. Yep, there's 11. So yeah, we can go straight out here. We got our altimeter set from the ASOS. So everything is looking good. The only thing that sucks is weather. And I'm hoping that I can get above all of this lousy weather. See. I am looking to see. I'm not really showing any. I was hoping to see if I can see on ForeFlight what the weather kind of looked like. And give me a second to do a housekeeping process. Let me get ForeFlight so it's broadcasting, so that I can share ForeFlight with you guys. And let's try it again. All right, there we go. So this is the flight plan that I got. See that at the very top. I'm gonna hide that. And yeah, so you can see our route here on ForeFlight. And so yeah, okay, so we've already done our the run up that we're gonna do, but we do need to do a couple of things here before we take off. So we got 9,000 in, and I don't know if my autopilot
Caution.
is gonna work the way I want it to. Like, I got some carburetor ice. I probably should turn that off, because in real life you don't get warnings about carburetor ice. So you kind of got to remember these things. All right, so flaps are set to take off. Landing lights are on. Strobe lights can come on. Strobe lights are now on. And Yakatek traffic, Beaver 686 Sierra Charlie is taking runway 11, departing straight out. Yakatek. Full rich, props are full forward. And pull our carburetor heat off. We can back taxi and take off the runway, or we can take off from this point. Even though I'm full of fuel, I've got enough runway to safely take off. Yeah. So yeah. And let's line up here. Right. Set our heading bug to 11. Okay, that's not working. But help if well, do it this way. Now we can realign here. Alright, and make sure that that's set. Yep, that is set. Alright. Alright, everything's in agreement. Lights, camera, and action. Let's close this cover here. Don't want to accidentally hit the thing that we don't want to hit. We want 33.
Approaching runway 20.
I don't know. This is not good. I got 4 left rudder and 4 brake depressed, and they'll get pushed over. So I'm not sure what's going on. I'm not sure whether that's me or the sim. At some point I do some further investigating, but for the moment we just let it ride. All right, so we are airborne. Flaps are set to take off. So we steady at 70 knots. Let's start taking flaps out. 1 notch. And we're gonna keep our nose right here on the horizon. Do some trimming here. That nose up. Looking good. Of course, not on course. All right, and we want 9,000. So for a climb, 500 feet per minute looks good. And we'll turn our autopilot on, which is already on, and it's trying to capture the 9,000 feet. And we'll go ahead and turn our nav on, pick up our course. Be too radical of a turn. Look like our desired track is about 120. Set heading bug to 120. There we go. And once we pick up our course, then it should turn to that radio, depending on how much wind we got. So, yeah, and the weather is not as bad as I thought. All right, so at this point, we're gonna reconfigure for our cruise climb. I'm gonna pull our prop manifold pressure to 2030. So there's 30 on our manifold pressure. Get our prop down to 20. And that's our climb / cruise power. And we'll hold it right there for right now. All right. And let's work some lights here. Okay, so our road light stays on. Our landing lights can come off. Okay, landing lights are now off. Our beacon and strobes are still on. That does it for our those lights. Do I have my headphones on? Doesn't sound like it. Let's see. Yep, they are on. Okay. So yep, those are on. And lo and behold, I am showing over 100 frames per second. This is default scenery. And generally, I don't get that many frames, so I'm not sure why, but I'll take it. All right, so I'm on that middle tank. Check out gauges on this climb. We do need to watch our mixture. We climb up, okay, or temperatures are in the green, well, it's approaching green. I think we're okay. I don't think I have cowling flaps. And this gauge, this handle right here is what allows the aircraft to get fuel out of the belly tank. So as long as if I didn't have the belly tank attached, then I don't think this guy would be here. But the fuel is pumped through with the vacuum system, so it's not an electric pump. It's uses the vacuum pressure. All right. So fuel pressure and oil pressures look good. All right. So let's look out of the window, guys, and take a peek at some of these mountains. There's ocean on that side. And cover your ears because I'm going to give you a quick peek outside. All right. This guy has a unique sound to it. All right, so let's start adjusting that mixture. And I really don't have anything to go by for my mixtures. They're moving fast. So my amps and suction is in the green. Yeah, I really don't have anything to go by for my mixture. Once I get to cruise, then I might pull the mixture back until the engine sounds like it's dying, and then adjust from there. I know that works on the carbureted engines. I'm not so sure that works on these WAS engines. So if the iPad open. My bad, guys. I hate when I do that. That could cause me to really ruin a perfectly good video. Alright, so I'm 4,100 climbing through 9,000. And I know you guys didn't see my mixture button move a few seconds ago, because I had it covered up with the map. All right, so I'm gonna show you that outside view again. Take another look. Get the cursor on the right side, on the right screen. All right. So the plan is to hug the coast. Oh, that is really loud. The plan is to hug the coastline, and I've got waypoints all along. My next waypoint is center, which is 26 nautical miles away. And you can see I'm not going to be very far from that coastline throughout the whole trip. The idea is that if I lose the engine, hopefully I can find some land, or if I have to make a water ditching, I can ditch close enough to land to be rescued. Of course, water temps are frigid here up in Alaska, so pray tell that we don't lose the engine. All right, so let's get rid of this guy again. Oh, that's not the guy. Rid of this. Yeah. All right. So, still adjusting that mixture. And I'm going to go ahead and do some cruising and climbing. And I would check back in with you guys from time to time as we make this trip. We'll definitely check in with you guys when I get ready to do when I get ready to change my tanks. Speaking of tanks, before I let you go, before I check out, go back here and let's look at our middle tank. So we started on 4. I think full is 26 gallons, and we've already approached close to 24 gallons. Oh, we're approaching 24 gallons. I did burn some fuel off for the front tank after I started the engine and let it idle while I was inputting my flight plan. So that's why front engine is not fully topped off. But like I said, I've got wings. I got fuel in the belly. And I got fuel in the. I got fuel in the belly tank. I got fuel in the wing tanks. So I still don't think I got enough fuel for the whole trip, but we'll see how far this fuel takes us. All right, so be back. I guess you guys can see that I'm still wearing my mask, but I realized that I was still in it, so I just took it off. Anyway, I am ready to switch tanks. Let's see, so let's go and check, see what we are. And we are, yep. So once I get to this 8-gallon left mark, then that's when I really want to go ahead and switch. Okay, so I am down to 8 gallons, clouds, and let's go ahead and actually what we want to do is we want to pump the gas out of the belly tank. So what I'm going to do is open this guy up, and that should start some, I don't know if that changed that vacuum, but still got plenty good suction. And you should see this guy, this middle tank, start to rise a little bit. However slow it's going, it is coming up, I can tell. So we'll see if we can't refill that middle tank. Not sure how long it's going to take. So we just let it fill. Okay, so we've been refilling that tank and drawing off of it at the same time. Let's see where we are in the tank. So we are about 24 and a half gallons, right at 25. So we're getting there. Now I don't know how much fuel is left in the belly tank. So let's take a gander. Now this I wouldn't be able to do in real life, but the belly tank still is has 92 pounds of fuel, and at 6 pounds a gallon, that's about a gallon and a half maybe, somewhere thereabout. So, but got to remember, at the same time we've been refilling it. We've been siphoning gas out of it and burning it. So, and the other thing that you might want to know is how far did we go, have we gotten since we been on this middle tank. Now we started here at PAYA and we are here. So from here to our plane is 146 nautical miles. So yeah, that's what we've done. And so my guess is if we can get another 146 nautical miles, then let's see. Let's put a cursor here. This is 137 nautical miles. So if we get to this waypoint here, then that's 218 nautical miles from where we are now. So my guess is we probably ought to get a good distance past Latch. Yeah, so we should get a good distance, maybe up in here somewhere before we need to switch to our forward tank. All right, so yeah, and like I said, I still got gas. Let's see. Now I'm gonna have to shut the vacuum off once that tank fills. And my guess is by now, if we hadn't been pulling gas out of it, it probably would be filled full by now. in real life, I wouldn't have this button where I could see how much gas is left in my belly tank. But you can always figure that kind of stuff out by using math. Fortunately, I don't have to use math, but if I was making such a long flight, definitely be setting up the expressions and solving them to so I could figure out, have a really good idea of what the plane, how much the plane is drinking, and how far I'm getting off of a gallon. All right, so I'm about ready to shut that tank off. And again, I wouldn't have this in real life, but I got less than a gallon. So, oh, no. Let's see. I'm looking at this. I got 43 pounds, 6 pounds a gallon. Yeah, so, so I've got, yeah, 7 gallons. And I think I'm gonna leave about 5 gallons in the tank. So, and I am happy with that. All right, so let's shut this tank off. And like we're in the soup here. So we'll just keep cruising. So along I go. And yep. So guys, I am having to check my fuel level and get this back, and yep. So we're down below 8 gallons on this middle tank. So yeah, let's switch back to our front tank. All right. So at this point, we have consumed all of the gas in our middle tank and our belly tank. We're still in flight, and it's been maybe trying to determine. I did not make a note of the time that I took off, but I think it was about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours ago. All right, so let's take a look's peek at where we are. We thought we'd get a little bit past Latch, and that's exactly where we are. Yeah, actually, I had thought that I'd be changing gas tanks up in here, and I actually made it a little further. So yeah, we're doing pretty good. All right. So I suspect that our front tank ought to get us to Charlie Foxtrot Quebec Bravo Romeo. 33 minutes, 70 nautical miles. And looks like we've got ground speed of 125 knots, and we've got a pressure of 2988. So let's go ahead and adjust that while we're here. The servos raise our nose just a tad to high, from high to low. Look out below, so we need to climb a little bit higher. And yeah, so we are doing okay. So I'm just checking in. Look at our gauges here. Oil pressure's in the green, fuel pressure's in the green, or temp is where it's been. Even though it's indicating red, it's been there and not having any issues. Let's see. And the alternator is charging. Volts look good. Suction looks good. All right. And we're on our we're on our third leg. And quite frankly, I had intended to do shorter legs and stay with you guys for the whole flight. But trust me, I am flying in real time, even though I'm pausing the vid so that you guys don't have to sit here and listen to me jabber and yabber on about whatever I can find to talk about over a 10-hour period or an 8-hour period, something like that. But you get the idea. Anyway, so, yep. And let's take a gander outdoors before we call it. All right. So, I can almost see, well, I can see why the Beaver is so popular because, you set this engine and it just purrs. It's steady. Um, and yeah, it's a nice aircraft, nice engine, nice platform. So I really can see why it was so popular, and the lifting capacity for this aircraft is just incredible. Now, it does not like winds that much. If you got the crosswind component is relatively low. I think 10 knots, it's 9 or 10 knots, and you ground it. But other than that, hey, nice platform. All right, so we'll be checking back in a few. Okay, guys, so I just switched tanks. Like the weather changed again, and I'm on X-Plane real weather, and it works for about 10 minutes or so, and then it stops working, it clears up. But anyway, that's another story. Let's see, I just switched tanks to my wingtip tanks, and I should be refilling now. I wasn't paying close attention, and I almost lost my engines because they were so low. Oh my lord, they are filling really fast. Because just a second ago they were where the needle was actually between the point and the E, and now it's almost up to 10 gallons. Um, Now, one thing about these wingtip tanks, it will drain. It's gravity fed to the main tanks. But if I don't turn the wingtips tanks off, then the gas would just overflow out of the main tanks. It's apparently an overflow valve, and I just start dumping fuel. There's no need to dump fuel. All right, so we do need to keep a close eye on this. And when it gets Oh, I guess about up in here somewhere. Then we probably want to shut our tanks off. Okay, so let's see where we are. So we started up here at Yakatek, and we've come all the way down here, made our turn at Charlie Foxtrot, Quebec, Bravo, Romeo. We skirted this section here. Looks like we're over some islands. Should have land on both sides. We do. Okay. And we are in that 230 nautical mile stretch. Looks like we've got 77 nautical miles before we get to Yankee Juliet, Quebec. And yeah, so let's see, no, not 100. Actually, it's 150 nautical miles before we get to Yankee Juliet, Quebec. So yeah, we still got a little ways to go. All right, let's see where we are on our gas tanks. Turn it off, and we're at 24 gallons. So we want to make sure that we turn that off. Let me go ahead and restart my real weather. Well, let's see what our hour. This is one thing I did try to remember to check. I want to see what our ground speed is without. Come on. This without any winds. So we're 125 over the ground, and we are 114 indicated. So we still got that 10 knot variance, roughly 11 knots. All right, so let's check our gas tanks before we do anything. And yeah, so let's go to real weather. Go here. Go there. Okay, so looks like we just updated. So that was going to change by itself anyway. All right. And I hope it took, let's see, no, didn't take. Refresh. All right, done. Apply changes. Yeah, it don't want to take, and I don't know why. All right, so let's check our tanks. So at this point, I think we're good to go to turn off our wingtip tanks. Let's go over here and turn them off. All right. And now let's see how much we got left in our wingtips. Okay, so we got basically 4.2 gallons and 4.1 gallons, so 8.3 gallons left in those tanks, which is probably a good reserve for them. All right, so we'll run this out and we'll land on our rear tank. So that's the plan. That is the plan. Now, I am going to try something, and I'm going to take a big chance. I'm going to start FS real weather. The problem with that is there's a really good chance that it could cause a crash to desktop. So if it does cause a crash to desktop, then I'm going to spawn in right here at class E at Yakatek, Sandspit, or this airport, which is Charlie Yankee Zulu Papa, and take off from there if I crash to the desktop. If not, and actually to make sure that I got all my parameters saved, I'm gonna go ahead and save this flight. Let me do that again. Yes, situation. Sure, I saved it as a situation and not a replay. All right. So I'm gonna start FS real weather. And let it load into the sim. Cross your fingers, guys. We'll know in a minute. Let me get rid of this iPad. Bad habit. All right. So we didn't crash. So we might be pretty good. All right. So I'd rather have something akin to what's actually going on outside the doors than to sit here dumb and happy and just be totally off basis. But in reality, I don't think I'd be flying a Beaver in anything but clear spots, clear skies. So 6 one way, half a dozen the other. All right. Now, 130 knots left. All right. Now let's look back at our airspeed. That should have updated by now. So we 130 knots over the ground. So we did pick up 5 knots. I think. Yeah, we did pick up 5 knots. We were 124, 25 before. So slight bump in tailwinds. And trying to see if the yeah, even the iPad is showing me that I have a 6 knot tailwind. So yeah, that is all right. So that's right here. Well, I don't think the pointer works on the iPad, but it's in that drop down. In fact, let me get rid of it. All right. Might be another place I can show you. Yeah. One thing about the iPad is let's see, I should be able to get a little bit more get my dials on the right side. I just don't remember how to do that. That didn't work. Okay, let's see. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. That's, yeah, get some glass there. So, but I generally don't fly with the glass on. That's pretty cool that I can do that. All right. So yeah, I've got enough glass with the GTN 750 and iPad to have pretty good situational awareness. All right, so I'll check back in with you guys in a few. So, guys, I'm checking back in with you, and we are still moseying on down the coast of Canada at this point. So, yeah, we're out of Alaska and we are in Canadian waters. Let's put it up on the iPad here. Let's see where we are. Incidentally, I just switched back to my wing tank, so I'm refilling my front tank. Show you. There we go. So actually, I just dumped the 8 gallons in, and looks like my tip tank's empty now. So let's confirm that. Again, wouldn't be able to do this in real life, but hey. Let's see, still say I got that 8 gallons in. Maybe I didn't do what I thought I did. I must have flipped this thing 360 degrees. So let's see if I can flip it. There we go. Yeah, I should be dumping that 8 gallons back in that front tank. And you can see the tanks going empty. 3.2, 3.2, and yeah, and of course I wouldn't have that in real life, so I would have to pretty much look up here where we're at 12, and I think I'm filling up. So we'll just get rid of the remaining fuel in those tip tanks. Actually, if we can leave a gallon or 2 in now. Let's see. Go over here, and we just turn them off. There we go. And let's see, what did we leave in now? 1.3, 2.6 gallons. So, for all intents and purposes, they are empty. And let's go back to that view there. And let's see, where are we? So, just a tap on this hat button. There we go. Nice. All right. So, we are 45 nautical miles from Yankee Juliet, Quebec. This BOR station. That's not a BOR. That's a NDB. Yep, it's a NDB. And once we get there, then let's see, from this point to this point, I don't really have a way to measure that, but from our location to our destination is a whopping 205 nautical miles. So, so that tells us that we will, let's say now, that tells us that we will run through all of our fuel. Um, I get this together. So let's see how we looking on fuel. We've got 16 gallons in our front tank, and it looks like about 20 gallons in our rear tank. So that's about 36 gallons. Well, we've got 25 gallons in our rear tank. Is topped off and holds 25 gallons. 16, actually 15. So that's 50 gallons of fuel. And the question is, can we make it 200 nautical miles? Let's go back. Let's go home here. Go to utilities, fuel planning. And we got 2.1 hours of endurance. We've got, according to the iPad, shucks, I left the iPad up, so guys, I keep doing that. I wish it, I just have to try to make a mental note too when I show you guys the iPad to make sure I get rid of it. But anyway, man, I actually am looking at the iPad at this point. So the Quantum River is not on the iPad, but I believe that this is the Quantum River here. Either one of these rivers. I believe it's either this river. Shucks, looks like we got some weather in that area. But I believe this is Quantum River. And some weather moving over it. It's unfortunate. Yep, look out front. Look at those thumbs popping up. Yep. Got thumbs popping up all over the place. Really unfortunate. And anyway, so we're burning 27.8 gallons per hour. We got an endurance of 2 hours, which should give us a range of 250 nautical miles, and I'm rounding up. And so yeah, actually we should be able to make it in on as if the weather doesn't become too much of an issue. Now, to be honest with you, I am almost saying to myself, well, I can I can control the weather, and I can make it conducive to our landing. We are flying IFR, of course. Haven't been monitoring any center frequencies, so so I haven't been talking to ATC, so that's a little unrealistic. But hey, it is what it is, right? All right, so. But yeah, basically, if the count on the iPad is right, then we got roughly an hour and a half to our destination, which leaves us roughly half an hour fuel left on board. So we'll stay up here, keep an eye out for these storms, and try and dodge them. Unfortunately, for X-Plane, the GTN 750 does not incorporate any weather data, so weather's grayed out, so I can't get a weather overlay on the map. And I believe, guys correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that in Microsoft Flight Simulator, the GTN 750 does allow the weather overlay to work. Um, can any of you guys confirm that for me? All right, so yeah, I've got some. See there, yeah, see lightning coming out of that bad boy. Yeah, let's see. So we just vector to the right here and try to scoot around this guy. So I'm gonna change my heading to 120. And hopefully I can miss that storm. Looks like she is definitely growing. Right. And if we can get on the other side of it, if we can get on the other side of it, then we'll go back on course. Now, fear is a consideration, so I'm hoping that these diversions doesn't cause us to use up the remaining fuel faster than we actually intended to use it. So looks like the ride is a little bit, and I can feel the winds. A little turbulence there, not much. But it's definitely not the smooth weather that it was. It is so cool that FS Global Weather actually draw these storms and create the anvil, the towering cumulus clouds, and you can see the lightning down in them. Of course, the rule is to stay at least 20 nautical miles away from the storm. At least. So in reality, we probably would want to vector out to the south a lot more so than what I'm doing. In fact, these cumulus clouds here are probably better to fly through than to fly this close to this thunderstorm. So now I'm getting a METAR change. So gotta wait and let the sim reload. Right now, it froze at 6 frames a second, and pray tell that it's not doing a crash. Come on, you can do it. Don't crash the desktop. I do not, and I repeat, do not crash to the desktop. So, looks like we are crashing to the desktop. So, what the plan is to let's see if we can find a place that I can spawn in, finish up this flight at some other time. Hold on. Okay, so not sure what happened to my clouds. Um, oh yeah, I was doing. Said the sound was crashing, so I paused it when the doorbell rang, and there I go. There's my crash. So yeah, the plan, guys, is I am going to end this flight here in the air and let me find a place to take off from that's close by, and we'll take off from that location. Unfortunately, Bella Bella at Denny Allen, Bella Bella is going to be the closest airport. So that's going to be where we're going to take off for our next leg on this flight. And from there, we'll bring it in. Um, and I will probably make sure top off some fuel. If they got any fuel services, which looks like they do, then I'm going to go ahead and not top off, but add a little fuel. So anyway, guys, said it's unfortunate that plane crashed. Wish I could bring it back, but that's not going to happen. Anyway, hope you enjoyed hanging out with me for a while, and we did make significant progress. We got from here all the way down. So it looks like we got roughly, yeah, maybe 310. Let's see, with not 300, about 500 nautical miles. Actually closer to 600 nautical miles before we crashed. Anyway, this video is long enough. See you next time.
Y'all come back now. Cheers.